Okay, good morning, and welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. This is a worldwide broadcast on StreamYard, which utilizes YouTube. And I've been doing this now twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 live streams. And I've been doing this now for 22 months, over a year and a half. I started in October of 2023. And my morning show, Fight CPS with Bob Pace, is on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends at 8 a.m. My evening show, uh, Fight CPS Stop Taking Our Children, is on at 7 o'clock at night, every night of the week. And the times I give you are Pacific Standard Time. That's the west coast of California, where I'm broadcasting this south of Los Angeles from a place called Surf City, USA. I'm 3 blocks from the beach, and I am sharing my experiences with CPS. I had a horrible, horrible time. There's something we all have in common with each other. You, me, the other people around the world, including the United States, of course, is we ran into what was called a rogue CPS entity. What I mean by that is some CPS entities are not fair. They're corrupt. They'll take your children when they're not in danger and put them in foster care, which is illegal. They also do alienation, where they try to alienate the parents from the child. And you do this solely for the purpose of money. It's all about money. It's $1 trillion business. The more they have your children, the more money they get from the federal government. The federal government has given away money foolishly to this organization. Now, every county and every state has a CPS organization, which I call the Child Protection System. These systems of entities that were created in 1962 by an act of Congress that said that social services would be responsible for protecting our children from neglect or abuse. So they formed social workers into these child protection systems. Some are called Department of Children's Services. Other ones are called Child Protection Services. Another one's Department of Children and Family Services. Another one's called the Cabinet. They're all different. And it's like there are 100 counties in North Carolina, and there's only 68 counties in California. So it all depends on the number of counties. But I know there are thousands of counties, and so there's thousands of organizations. So it's easy to say child protection system. Now, one thing I do want to start off with is how we can interact with this live stream. All you have to do is text me a message. Now, the instructions are there on the screen, and please follow them. Please follow them. And where it says the country, don't need to put United States. I know all the states, and so you don't need to put the country. But that is for the other 22 countries that I've spoken to. That's right. 22 countries have either texted or called in. With the United States, it makes 23. Now, some of these countries are Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, then up in the Middle East, it's Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over to the continent of Africa, it's Liberia and Sudan and Republic of Congo, Rwanda and Mozambique. And then further south, the provinces of South Africa. Then up to Europe, it's the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, and Wales. And then there's also been Denmark and Sweden. Across the pond is North America with Canada and its provinces. Then we have, of course, the United States and all 50 states. And I've even had someone from Washington, D.C., a terrible case that was happening there in Washington, D.C. It is corrupt there. It is so corrupt there. I mean, they were just talking the news about how bad corruption is there. Well, I know this lady called in, and she had been raped in a new housing project they had. She had asked a neighborhood boy to help her with groceries up there. And He went up the stairs and helped her, but then he and his friend came up there and they raped her. They raped a woman who was asking for help. So she reported to the police. They took her in, they put her in a hotel, took her child, and she was raped again in the hotel. Now, that is a safe environment in Washington, D.C. Yes, that's one example, but imagine there's thousands of them, and Trump's in the same thing when one of his people was accosted and beat up and stuff and robbed or whatever the case would be. But I'm saying our state capital is supposed to be safe. That's why President Trump's doing what he's doing. People don't like that. LA didn't like that. The mayor didn't like that. See, we're all about children. Our main theme is how to protect our children. And they're being abused in CPS's hands. They're being abused. I know from firsthand experience because I too had a case with CPS. It pretty much went from 2010 to 2017. 7 years. The first 5 years were intimidations by them. They'd constantly come to my house or call me or say that they wanted to investigate an accusation. That's the problem with the CPSs. They are not very well structured at times. And good morning, Mark Diedrichs. You're from Lakeland, Florida. I'm dealing with a false claim from my wife's brother's baby's mother in law. Well, that's the trouble with lay people. That's the trouble with lay people. Now, another way of we're going to put another banner up there that talks about being a guest on my live stream. Please read it. It's self explanatory. It's self explanatory. Now, Marks from Florida is dealing with a layperson that reports. You see, there's two kinds of people that do the reporting for CPS. They're the professional people that because of their job, they have to report. Because of the job, they have to report. And so this sounds like Marx as a layperson, which is trying to stir up trouble. They are only right 25% of the time. 75% of the time, they're wrong. And they use CPS and abuse it because they want to retaliate against a family member or they want some other motivation, like maybe the neighbor's dog is barking or maybe the yard is overgrowing their yard. So they'll make false allegations. And 75% of the time, they're wrong. Now, the other kind of accusations are made by professionals. Statistics have shown they're wrong half the time. They're wrong half the time. These are people that have been trained and educated, are supposed to report the truth. Last year, there was over 4 million reports of child abuse or neglect reported by professionals, the people that have their job that require them to do it. They're like firemen and policemen, and they're teachers and administrators and counselors. And then there is also the doctors and nurses and so forth. Anybody that works with children professionally, or that's what they're classified. They're right half the time. Only half the time of the 4 million people, 2,000 were reported false. 2,000, 2 million, half of 4 million. That's sad. That's sad. So I know what you're going through, Mark. I know what you're going through with the false claims because I went through false claims for 5 years. My in laws, my wife's mother and father, her three sisters and brothers were calling in from Ohio to California, telling the CPS that we were awful parents, making up stories that were fictitiously untrue. And every time I was a social worker, this went on for 5 years. I was able to tell them nothing was happening. I showed them my house so many numerous times. But eventually that didn't stop with my in-laws. I did not know they're the ones that are calling in. If I knew back then, that would have stopped. That would certainly stop. Also, if I knew my 5 rules that I've come up with back then, I would never have been involved in CPS. That's the problem. We don't know what to do with his entity. Now, Mark further says, she's saying my kids are autistic and we don't take care of them. He left her 4 months ago and she's doing this out of spite. He left. I'm confused. I'm trying to understand. This is Mark. So Mark is saying that this lady, who I guess is his wife's brother-in-law, they're artistic and we don't take care of them. Well, if they're artistic, I think you do take care of them. Autistic is another word for special needs of children. Now, somebody named he left her 4 months ago and she's doing this out of spite. So I don't know if it's a couple of your wife's brother that he left, or I need to know more information, Mark. I'm not trying to get there. In fact, this banner I put up there, the email, you just send an email to Grace, my show producer, and she'll put you on. Now, all you do is say, I want to be Bob's Sunday morning show or Friday night show or Wednesday morning show. As I say, I'm on 14 times a week, and you just pick evening or morning and one of the days of the week, and she'll give you the link. They'll get you on the SteamYard. And if you get knocked off, use the link again. It's good for the whole show. Also, it's important that uh, that we follow the following rules. We have no profanity on the show, and that also goes for texting. Do not do profanity in here. This is a general room for general people. It's not for adults. It is for adults, but anyway, it's with no profanity. Also, we don't use the names of children or social workers or judges in this room. So we have Mark in here, and I'm trying to help him, who's from Lakeland, Florida, but I'm trying to understand him, Mark. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put up my phone number so you can call in. Now, there's my phone number, 626-698-0990. That will take you to my office phone. I use Vonage, but you don't have to have it. It's an internet-based phone application. And I'll double check to make sure it's on. It's been on since I started the show this morning a while ago. Uh, Yeah, my show is on. I mean, my phone is on. So please call in. And Mark, you can call in and we can talk about your case instead of going back and forth playing ping pong. I don't mind playing ping pong, but sometimes little bits of information take so long to get the understanding of your case. Um, Here we go. We got a number coming in. Okay. Good morning. You've reached Bob Pace on live stream. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to? Hey, Mark. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, I'm trying to understand you, and I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions.
No, you're good. You're good. So,
Okay.
so what happened was, all right. So me and my wife, we have 3 kids,
Okay.
and her brother has his baby mothers, and they have 3 kids also. They split up 4 months ago, and now that he's taken her to court, and he's requesting 70-30 because originally she wanted 50-50, and since she's abandoned the kids for over 4 months, like literally, but everybody around here, like on my side of the family and his family, been trying to help take care of his kids. And now since it's 4 months ago, and she's gone through because my mother can't get her what she wants, and never before she's for his family by saying all of it. Yes, so she's doing it out of spite. She's just trying to hurt our family because she abandoned her kids, basically.
Okay. And so.
And now she's calling DCF on us,
Right.
Which I even take care of her kids. Like right now, whenever I usually get off of work, but now I'm waiting for DCF to come to my house for a false accusation. And I was just wondering if there's anything I can do once I'm done with this to hold her accountable, because in the state of Florida they said it's a felony.
In the state of Florida, they say what?
It's a felony for false accusations.
Yes, it is. And you can sue somebody if you know them. You're right.
Yes, and so once I'm done with this, the accusation, because I'm waiting for the DCF. It's called DCF down here in Florida.
That's fine. That's fine. There are thousands of names. I just call it CPS because it's easy and Child Protection Systems.
Yes.
So,
yes,
yeah. So anyway, my question is have they been to your house yet?
No, I'm literally waiting for them right now.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing is, you're going to have to get the family quiet, and you cannot have any noise if they come knocking at the door. Let them knock. Don't say anything. Be as quiet as a mouse. If you have to, take your kids back in closets and bedrooms because they can't be heard crying. Because if they hear them crying, they think they're being hurt. They can't enter the home. That's the whole problem, is that they can't enter the home unless the child is in danger. For a child to be in danger, there's got to be noise coming from the home. If there's nothing said. Yeah, sure, please. Okay. What I'm trying to tell Mark, is that you don't want to open the door to them. Now, I hear all this background noise, and they will hear it too. And if it's screaming or yelling going on, they will break down the door. If they have the police, they can break down the door. They cannot enter your home if there's no noise. They have to have a warrant to enter your home. They have to have a warrant or permission. No, because so many cases of people doing that, what's happened is that they've taken advantage. What you really should need to do, and it may be financially impractical, you need to get an attorney. Because anytime a criminal matter, that's another thing. If you're outside, you run into CPS, you can ask them if they're trying to talk to you, to say hi. And if they say your name, say yes. And then if they ask you further questions, you tell them, is this regarding a legal matter? If they say yes, it is, then you say, I cannot talk to you further because my constitutional rights say I need to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to get my attorney. We'll contact you. You give me your name and phone number, and we will contact you with my attorney because they don't want to fight a real attorney. The problem is they're
Yeah.
going to try to trick you to take their court appointed attorney because your constitutional right says anytime you're involved in a legal matter, you're supposed to have representation. So they will come back later to try to get in. Meanwhile, you have to get a hold of an attorney. Now, that next question is going to be hard because you probably don't have the money to retain an attorney. Uh, because most people don't think about legal insurance. Do you have legal insurance?
No, sir.
Yes, that's the most thing is people don't think to pay the legal insurance costs about 50 cents to a dollar per day, about $365 a year, and they can come up with that retainer that you need to come up with. You may need to come up with a $5,000 retainer. That's hard to do uh, because that's typically how most cases start out. And the attorney fees are run from $200 to $1,000 an hour. And I don't know the attorneys in your place there in Florida, but it's very important that you get an attorney that is skilled and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those are the three areas of law that you need. Because if you try to fight CPS yourself, it's like you're Alice in Wonderland. You fell into the rabbit hole. You met the Chester cat, and the Chester cat has chased you from room to room, where one of the rooms says off with your head. That's how crazy CPS is. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need a trained professional. You need someone that knows the law, the juvenile law, the family law, the dependency law. That's the three areas of law that the child protection system works in. And so it's not criminal, it's not criminal law. And you don't want a criminal matter charged. That's a whole separate can of worms. But what you want to do is try to have everybody be quiet, play a game like quiet game, and hide in the closet till they leave. Because if you talk to them, they think it's an open invitation to search your home, and then they're going to say, "We need to take your child." That's their typical MO. Take your child. They don't need to take the child unless the child's in danger. If the child's being choked or shaken or beaten unnecessary, then they will take the child. If the child's in danger, like there's terrible living conditions, then they'll take your child. But they're only supposed to take a child when they're in danger from neglect or abuse. And 75% of the time, they charge you with neglect. 25% is abuse. So neglect could be not feeding them or clothing them or having a safe place for them to live. So it's very hard for you not to answer that door. But I've seen too many people answer the door and their children are taken that same day. Not only that, you have a layperson that has vindictively called against you, which is wrong. That layperson is wrong. And they're doing that out of spite. I had the same similar thing happen to me. I had the same thing happen to me. So it's really going to be hard with those kids because that screaming could mean signs of trouble, and you don't want the CPS to hear that because that's what the things is. If you know they're coming over, you may want to get in the car and go to the family's house, drop the kids off at the family house, then come back home. You got to be careful because they will try to take your children. They're not friends. They're not friends. And they work off false allegations. These false allegations, they think you're guilty. CPS is the only criminal thing that where you're guilty until you're proven innocent. Every other crime that you commit or accused of, you're innocent till you're proven guilty. You're innocent till you're proven guilty. So, Mark, it's going to be hard if they're coming over because they're going to want to do it. And as soon as you talk to them, you'll say something too much. That's another thing. You don't talk to them. It's yes, no answers. Yes, no answers. Is my name Mark? You say yes. So it's yes, no answers. But if you start opening up and talk to them socially or thinking about being friendly and think they'll be friendly back, they don't. You can't trust the government entities. I would say 50% of CPS entities are bad. 50%. You can't trust them. and mine weren't. And they took my children who happened to be in school. They're not in danger when they're in school, and they weren't in danger in their home. I was wrongly accused of by my wife's mother, father, three sisters, and brothers who once a week would call in false reports. They wanted our children. And when they heard that I lost my job, they're trying to take advantage of the situation and have the children taken away because I cannot provide for them. But I had money tucked away. I had money tucked away, and I sold my forever home and used that money to hire an attorney. But I made a mistake. I didn't hire an attorney right away, and I spent the first year without my kids in a horrible, horrible mess fighting them pro se. I did have a court appointed attorney, but the court appointed attorney was useless. They didn't have time to talk to you. They have too many cases going on. They're not background in juvenile law, family law, or dependency law. They're usually only background in criminal law. Criminal law will not help you. You need someone who's been trained and educated. As I say, you're certainly not going to get a plumber or a dishwasher to do open heart surgery. That's why you need a professional attorney. And I know most people don't get legal insurance and don't have that money tucked away. I had to sell my home. I quick sold my home where I got my money. I'm not saying you do the same, but I wanted my kids back, and I got a great attorney, but it took 2 years to get them back. And one of my children was so abused by the system that she changed her name, she divorced her parents, sealed her birth certificate, got a new birth certificate, and then got adopted by her foster care family. And that was all because the social worker told my daughter, who was 12 years of age, that she could do that. And the social worker was retaliating because the social worker had committed perjury in in trial. In court, she committed perjury, and we caught her with that. So anyway, these are decisions you got to make, and time is running out. I know you have very limited time. Um, do you think you can be quiet with your kids if someone comes to knock the door?
What's that?
Do you think you can be quiet with your kids if someone comes knocking at the door?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and pack up my kids, and then she's supposed to be here in like 20 minutes, so I think I'm gonna just go ahead and pack
Just
up and
go,
leave.
pack up your kids, leave them with a relative or family. They need to come back to the house. If you happen to see them outside, if you run into them when you come back to the house, you see them outside, you ask them, is this a legal matter? If it's a legal matter, you tell them very little, and you tell them you need to have my attorney address you. Please give your name and phone number of how to reach you. You're being cooperative. You're being pleasant by yes no answers. You don't want to talk to them because everything you say will be held against you. You certainly don't want to
Yep.
talk to police, or and they're going to be in tow with police because they have a habit of using intimidators. Policemen are supposed to protect the social workers, not not enforce the laws of CPS or be intimidation, but they're dressed in their battle fatigues, and they'll sometimes come with 3 or 4 policemen with a social worker knocking at your door. It's a horrible, horrible experience because their goal is to take that child, whether the child's in danger or not, because they're going to collect $20,000 at first, and if it's a autistic child, a child with special needs, they will collect another $15,000 on top of the $25,000 per month. That means they're getting $35,000. If you have 3 children, they're going to end up being 90, $105 a month they're going to get from those 3 children. So you got to be careful about that.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to tell you that it's
I
all
don't even
about
make that
money.
much money a year.
Well,
I don't even
it
make that much money a year.
I know it doesn't cost that much money to take care of children, but they do that. And they get the money freely because the federal government gives billions of dollars to the state, and the state gives millions of dollars to the county. It's $1 trillion business. It's the only business that where trafficking is it's illegal, but they try to make it legal by putting them into
Yeah,
foster
no,
care.
absolutely.
And it's going to ruin your life because you got long roads ahead of you. But you got to be prepared. Now, I don't know if you know attorney in the background of juvenile law, family law, and dependence law. You will have to go and do that calling later today. Your first concern is to get out of the home with your children. And take
Yeah.
them with a family member, somebody that'll be responsible to take care of your children. Now, if you come back later and they're there, they talk to you, them, just say, is this a legal matter? If it's a legal matter, then you just have to say, I need my attorney present. It's my constitutional right to have an attorney present through all legal matters of the proceeding. They're going to be taken aghast by that statement. They're going to backpedal.
Well, I think they're going to be here shortly. I got to get these kids
Right.
loaded up. I do appreciate your advice, man. I really do.
Well, come back tonight. I have a show. I have a show at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Okay.
Okay, let me go. I'm going back to YouTube.
All right.
I'm going back to your channel. I'm going. Yep, I got you.
Okay. Thank you for calling in, Mark.
No, thank you. You have a blessed day, and
you bet.
I will be looking forward to
Yeah.
talking to you
You
later,
bet.
okay?
You bet. You bet. You bet. Okay, that was Mark from Lakeland, Florida, and his wife. They have 3 children. The CPS are on their way. And so I'm telling you all, either take the children to a family member and have them stay there, then come back to the home and deal with it. But whatever you do, if they talk to you, you ask them, is this a legal matter? If the answer is yes, then you're going to have to be quiet. It's yes, no answers. And you tell them that your attorney will get back. You and your attorney will get back to them. And you're going to have to find an attorney, and that's going to be an expensive proposition. But Mark, if you're listening to me on my show, please call back at 7 p.m. tonight. That's Pacific Standard Time in Florida. You have to add 3 hours to that, so it's 10 p.m. your time. 10 p.m. your time, 7 p.m. my time. You can call. So that was great. We talked to Mark from Lakewood, Florida. This is what I do. I help you all deal with CPS. I'll give you suggestions and ideas. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a family man, and I've helped raise 6 children, 3 older children with their families and 3 younger children. I've also have 42 years of marriage, and I have 61 years of life skills I can help you on. All kinds of things. One of the life skills I was mentioning early on is legal insurance. Now, legal insurance is just like insurance you get for your home or your car or appliances or car repairs or pet insurance or life insurance. So, what I'm telling you is that legal insurance is available and will cover the retainer that you may come with if you have a legal matter. You may have your children that get caught with a DUI and you need to have an attorney represent them. You have to understand, lawyers are the doctors of the legal world. Lawyers are the doctors of the legal world. You go see a doctor, you don't go see a plumber or a dishwasher. Those are not bad trades. And I'm just using those examples. But you have to see a real attorney. And that's my rule number 1. Get a real attorney. To get a real attorney, all you need to do is search for at least 2 names. I'm going to give you the third one. I already have an attorney for you that I've done research on, and I know about him. But you need to come up with 2 attorneys. And the thing is, you type in the internet and use the Google Probe or Chat GPT. Chat GPT is something new. It's AI generated. It does seem to give a lot of good answers about things. So use Google Chrome browser or GPT. Now, if you use Chrome browser, that's my rule number 4. It's very important that you set up the wording so you find what you're looking for. You always start off with the city, followed by the state. And if you have to be out of the United States, put your country in there. Then after that, you want to put the capital letters CPS, which is the Child Protection System. Then you write your question. I want a juvenile law, family law, dependency lawyer. And a bunch of names will come up, and you have to sit there and filter to pick 2 of them, because the third one I'm giving you is the attorney that represented me. His name's at the top of my page. It's Vincent W. Davis. He has 39 years of fighting CPS and getting your children back. He is trained, licensed, and experienced. in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He's also a trial attorney. He once was in foster child himself as a kid, so he knows about the foster system. So, what you're going to do is that you can contact him and ask him for references. I already know that he is a good choice. He further does civil lawsuits where he will sue CPS. He's not afraid to stand up to CPS, and he will sue them. He's won millions of dollars from CPS. CPS does not like Vincent W. Davis. They use his live stream as training videos for their social workers to get around, and capture the child. Their goal, CPS, is not for family reunification. 50%, I think, is that the goal. The other 50%, I still think, is for family reunification. Now, it is important that we report child abuse and child neglect. It goes on all the time. In fact, they had the Humane Society first before they had children being protected. The Humane Society Protection and Cruelty of Animals was already established long before Child Protection Services was. And as I say, it wasn't until 62. It's gone through a lot of changes, a lot of changes. But one thing is emphasized is family unification because the best parents are the biological parents. And if there's a mistake in life, there are parenting classes and programs that will help them. You aren't born with a manual about how to raise children, how to take care of children, how to fight CPS, how to stop bullying, how to, you know, open a checking account, how to do a saves account, how to purchase life insurance, the hold and the term. Um, you know, uh, there's so many life skills that I wish people would have. They should take it at least an hour a week while they're in school. An hour a week while they're in school. That's all. 1 hour a week. So if they're in school for 52 weeks, they take 52 hours of life skills. And they're changed as they grow older. It should start at preschool, then preppy K, which is preppy kindergarten, and then kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, and then college, and further your master's and doctor's program. So, um, they could in the early years do it every day of the week. I think as you get older, it may is not necessary like in high school and college, but at least through middle school and elementary school, kindergarten, preppy K, and preschool, they can have it every day of the week. That's a suggestion, but life skills are so important because you can talk. I can talk and deal with those things. If you take it in school, they'll talk. They'll tell you about divorce and marriage. They'll tell you about um, things like bullying and strangers, how to talk to strangers, how to answer the phone. There's so many life skills that go on, like maybe to play soccer or football or baseball, or maybe to learn to surf, you know, uh, volunteer organizations. There's so many life skills. And I have Dorothy Cook that's come into the room, and I'm so glad to see her. Dorothy, we had Mark from Florida who talked about his kids, and social services or CPS is there to come to his home. So he's going to take his kids and take them to family members. And you put it in there very, very good. Thank you, Dorothy, for helping me reemphasize what I'm talking about. Thank you for being here, Dorothy. Thank you so, 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 so much. Now, I am talking a lot, and my phone number is up, and the comments are being expressed. We have a new thing, it's in the beta format. But if you notice on my screen, all the comments from people are being put on the screen. And when Dorothy summarizing what I'm saying is helping, so somebody doesn't miss anything, because I'm here to hear. And I love the two emojis we got. We got the care emoji, and it's Dorothy Cook and Donna Yansosky. Donna, thank you. I still don't know where you're from. I think you're European with that last name, but I'm only guessing. And Dorothy, you're from North Carolina, and I'm so glad to talk to you about a lot of matters. Dorothy has really been very instrumental being here. She's called me and she helps out other people in the room. We have a family room, meaning that we have people that come here day after day after day, twice a day, and they share their stories. If they have questions, I help to try to answer them. And I even have a lady from South Africa that calls from time to time in country code 27. So it's not only in the United States, but CPS worldwide. It is corrupt worldwide. And I'm sorry to say that people in other countries, just like the US, are going through the worst time of their life. They're going through the worst time of their life. Now, when you're looking for that attorney, as I say, there are two questions you ask that attorney. Question one: are you a licensed juvenile family law dependency lawyer who has fought CPS and won children back? The answer is yes. You go to the second question. After the case is over, have you ever filed a lawsuit against CPS and won back money? The answer is yes. Then you got yourself a candidate that you need to interview. And what you do is you call them up and get the three references. You do the same thing with Vincent Davis, but yes, he has done lawsuits. He is a licensed, skilled juvenile family law dependency attorney. And so if you get two yeses, then you're going to ask them for the references. So in my case, I've already told you one. You just call the office. The office number, by the way, I got to take down the comments for a second. Is 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis, where he has many attorneys for different things. He has things for like corporate law, divorce. He has real estate law, workman's comp, traffic law. He has a lawyer for everything. So when you call that number, you'll reach reception. And when you talk to reception, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you talk to Mr. Davis, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. But there you'll find information about lawyers, about books, and articles of how to fight CPS. And we have one book right now called The Grandparent Guide Step by Step in California of How to Adopt Your Grandchildren. It works in other states, and parents should see the guide anyway. It's only $9.99 to buy it, but I have a special promotion going on where it's 50% off. And that means you're paying less than $5 for that book. Also, you can find out when the other live streams will be on by calling in that number. There are other people who do live streams. There's Maniac Mondays on Monday from KK Richardson in Brooklyn, New York. There's Deidre Payne that does a show on Wednesdays that does a live stream. Vincent Davis, the attorney that had supported me and helped get my kids back. Vincent Davis has a show weekdays called Office Hours, and on the weekend it's questions and answers on Saturday at 10 o'clock. You just call the office and you can find out all the information. It's 888-888-6582. And you call the office there. Now I'm going to put my comments back up that kind of blocks that number there. Now I have a 45-minute running time. The clock now says it's 10:52. So that means I have 8 minutes left till my show ends at 11 o'clock. But if we have somebody talking or we have something going on, I'll run a full hour. Now, for some apparent reason, the room emptied. That happens from time to time. Sometimes I have maybe 12, 15 people, and then other times people go off for whatever reason. I know talking about my 5 rules can be very boring, and I've talked about them almost all my shows. I try to talk about something that interests you. You that are part of my live stream need to text a message in me or call me on my phone, my work phone, and I'll gladly talk to you about your case. I'll gladly help you. I'll look up things and try to help with you. Dorothy Cook has asked me questions, and so has the rest of you. So, um, we've had one person call in this morning, Mark, out of Florida, who's going with his kids to another family house, which I think is important because he has to deal with a very corrupt agency. Very, very corrupt. Now, he's in Florida, and I don't know if that agency at Lakeland, I know nothing about that. I don't know what county that is. Lakeland, Florida. Let me see if I can find out. Lakeland, Florida. CPS. Let's just see what shows up. Now, they call the CPS, the Child Protection System in Lakeland, Florida, DCF, Department of Children and Families. And they have a thing called the Lakeland Service Center on North Kentucky Avenue in Lakeland. So they have a service center. They also have a thing called Child and Family Services with a hot number. So if you want to report abuse, you can do so. Now, all reports is confidential, and I think it should never be that way. I think a person making a report should write it down, sign it, put their phone number, and be available if they found out that they have falsified a report. And then they could be sued. Now, they do have a phone number if you want to speak to Department of Children and Family Services, the CPS system in Florida, or actually in Lake. I should be careful because in California, it's the CPS, the Child Protection Services in Orange County. Next door in LA County is Department of Family and Children Services. So within the state, they have different names. Now, how long is an investigation in Florida? It's 60 days. That they have to, the initial assessment response will happen within 24 hours of a report. Then during the next 60 days, they'll investigate it thoroughly before they make a decision if they're going to go ahead and prosecute you for neglect or abuse. Now, there's a question that comes up about food stamps assistance. For a one person household, it's 1,632. For a two-person household, it's 2,215. And for a three-person household, it's 2,798. That anybody below those can get nutrition, get their food stamps. So, one thing that the Department of Children Families look for when they do a home visit, they look for signs of risk factors of abuse, neglected, or abandonment. They look for physical hazard in the home, and the home has resources to care for a child, like food and bedding. So that's why you got to be very careful, let them in your home. Now, how fast can a CPS close it? They will do it in 90 days after the investigation. It comes with a letter. If they don't have a letter, you need to make sure you get a letter from them that they dismiss the case because they will haunt you. They will come and get you again when they get another report. Any person who knows or has reasonable cause to suspect that a child is abused, abandoned, or neglected by a parent, legal custodian, caregiver, or other person responsible, um, is a mandatory reporter for Florida. They're supposed to call in. Wow. Ugh. Here's a question comes up. How dirty does a house have to be to call CPS? What is CPS to consider a dirty house? CPS doesn't show up because your kid left Legos on the floor. They show up someone who reports a child may be living in unsanitary conditions or unsafe conditions. So that helps you all with thinking about that. How do you pass CPS inspection? A clean and safe environment is essential for a child's health and development. CPS workers would check for clutter, dirt, mold, and other sanitary issues that might pose health risk. While every home has its messy moments, persistent neglect could be a sign of a problem. Does CPS have to report to all calls? Yes, they have to. And it's required by law that CPS responds to report in Florida within 72 hours. I thought it was 24 hours. They may try to meet the entire family or they'll meet the child alone. After CPS initial case, they may or may not call you as a parent. So you got to be careful there and have them meet your child alone. You got to instruct your children ahead of time if they ever meet anything to not say anything unless they have an attorney present. Does the CPS check all rooms? They knock on the door, usually unannounced. They look in every room of the house, open kitchen cabinets, sometimes inspect children's bodies, and generally look for any evidence of child maltreatment. CPS rarely seek a warrant and typically act if that is unnecessary. But in Florida, they don't seek warrants. Warrants are hard to get by. Warrants are hard to get by. You can refuse them not to take pictures of your home without a court order. You shouldn't have them in their home in the first place. You do not have to speak to CPS, and you can tell CPS that you need to talk to your lawyer first. You also have the right to tell them that you do not want them to enter your home, but that does not mean the investigation will stop or the case will end. They'll come back with a warrant. So, how many times can CPS be called on you? Dozens of times. There's no three strikes and you're out from CPS. Perhaps he's thinking of criminal court. If you need daycare, you might try reach out to 211 instead first before calling CPS. What do they look for in a home? They look for physical abuse. Child pays close attention to signs of physical harm, such as bruises, fractures, burns, unexplained injuries. Any suspicion of intentional harm or excessive disciplines can raise red flags. Neglect, failure to provide adequate food, clothing, shelter, or medical care can be considered neglect. To get your kids back, you understand the reasons why your child was removed from your care. You work with an experienced CPS lawyer, somebody who is trained. Complete the requirements outlined by the social workers and your lawyer. Attend all court hearings. That's how you're going to get your children back. Now, if they come unannounced and you're not home, they'll leave a business card and they'll ask you to please return the call. They won't tell you why they want to talk to you. So you need to get a hold of an attorney. Child Protective Service cannot tap your phone or employ similar surveillance tactics without your consent or a valid court order. They generally need a consent or court order to extinction circumstances search personal areas like dresser drawers. Without these, they cannot legally conduct invasive searches. If CPS requests a search, you may ask for legal justification or a presence of a warrant. Do parents have the right to decline entry to investigator? The answer is yes, but declining entry to the CPS won't stop the investigation. If CPS has details the child can be in danger, they have the jurisdiction to go to the court to petition a court order to give them to access. CPS is notorious for bullying people, especially when they're being fed trumped up allegations. Get an attorney who works in the same region as whatever the CPS case is going on. Can they talk to neighbors? Yes, they can. So you got to really, it's like you got to prepare for CPS. If you record with the social worker knowing, you'll not be able to use anything said without knowing. You will not be using anything you said. In addition, in California, recording without the other party's consent is a crime. So it's best to consent in prior recording. Also, you can go to places. Good morning, Robert. I love you. Um, it's best for you to um, go to a public place like McDonald's or Starbucks or a library. Tell them up front that you're recording them. You're recording them. It's a public place, you're allowed to record. Can you sue CPS on me? Can you sue the person who called CPS? You want to work your willingness to work with them to firmly assert your innocence. Consider civil actions for false allegations. If the allegations against you are proven to be knowingly false, you may have the grounds for a civil lawsuit against the accuser for defamation, malicious prosecution, or emotional distress. How do you get your kids back? Understand the reasons why your child was removed. Work with your CPS attorney. Complete the requirements by the social workers. Attend all court hearings. There are so many questions here that I've come up with, which is really great in Florida. This is all, Florida has this great thing called the myfamilies.com in Florida. Look it up. The internet is a gold mine that will help you. The internet's a gold mine that will help you. Now, good morning, Christina Reynosa from Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, I agree, Christina. Take it to Doge. Doge is the Department of Government Efficiency that President Trump started in January and is investigating all the government agencies to find out corruption and how money is being wasted and people getting money. So I agree. Let me, since we haven't over, I got to take my phone number up because now it's time to close because I've already talked an hour and it's already after 11 o'clock. It's 11:07, so I've gone over. I'm leaving the department of government efficiency. They have a website, doge.gov. You can get a job there if you want. They also tell you what they're doing and how they're doing the investigation. Also, they have two phone numbers. Area code 202 is the White House. So those numbers do work when you call them. Also, they have an email that you can send them things. And I plan to send them an email too about a case that went wrong about my daughter. And they will do an investigation of that. So, with that being said, I do have to go here. Christina, I'm so glad you came in to see you. It's so nice to see you there. I thank again for the emojis from Dorothy Cook and Donna Yanosky. I also thank the thumbs up from Donna Yansosky. And I want to thank Dorothy Cook for helping me narrate what I'm saying and for being here. She's from North Carolina. And then earlier on our early phone call, Mark Diedrich. Thank you from Lakeland, Florida. And I hope everything goes well with you. I'd like to hear from you tonight at 7 o'clock. So with that being said, I'm going to end my live stream, but please do not forget to stop fighting for your children. Do not give up. And there'll be a brief video at the end of my live stream. Please listen to it. It talks about Vincent Davis and what he can do for you. God bless you, and I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left. Put your